Dobro utro, as they say where I'm going. I'd like to announce a very special trip that I'm getting ready to be on. I haven't been there in 30 years. When I was in 8th grade in high school, I went there, and now I'm returning, and it hasn't really changed too much. I'm going to Medjugorje. For 30 years, the Blessed Mother has been appearing to visionaries on a regular basis. And right now I'm going to not only go to Medjugorje, but I'm also going to stay with one of the visionaries for a few days. And then I'm going to go to a very interesting island for a very unique experience with Father Sudak for a retreat over the weekend. I'm going to document this whole trip, as I believe it will be pretty fascinating. And when I was there as an 8th grader in high school, I witnessed some things that are definitely worth revisiting. Well, this trip has not been a dream so far. First, I had problems with my passport and I couldn't get on the plane, so I missed a whole day. And then I got my passport problems taken care of. And I will say that every single flight today, or actually yesterday, I've been traveling since, I don't even know. It's been a long time. Well, I finally made it to the compound after 26 hours of travel in what amounts to 7 flights. A lot of delays and a lot of late arrivals and a 2-hour drive. I did make it here, and just in time for Mariana to wait for me and have some dinner with me. Something her and her husband cooked. It was pretty awesome. And Mariana, she, since August 2nd, in 1987, has been having apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And it just so happened that when I was getting ready to go in 8th grade of that summer of 87, I missed the first week of my high school to make this Medjugorje trip, and that interceded with that August 2nd apparition, which I actually was privy to be witness of. And I was actually, in that case, really privy because it wasn't in public outside as much as it now. But it was in the rectory, and it was in a small room in the rectory, and they only chose a couple of people out of the crowd. And I was chosen by the priest, and his picture's over there, and her picture's right behind me, actually. That's a really great rendition of her. She looked just like that. I mean, just a really beautiful person, and you really get to see her beauty indeed. When she sees the apparition in particular, she really kind of glows in a way that it's unbelievable and just really beautiful. So she was here, and I had dinner with her and her husband and some of my hosts. And I'll give you a run around, and tomorrow we're going to wake up at 8:30 and go climb Mount Chriskleinmusic. Well, today is a beautiful day, and here I am in Medjugorje. Behind me is the outdoor chapel, which was not here last time I was here. And there's a lot of things that weren't here last time I was here, but there's definitely something that was. And that is behind me. And that's the mountain. We're going to go up there today and do the Stations of the Cross with the group. I tell you, it is amazing. This place has grown so magically, and it's all for good reason. I'll tell you that much. There's a lot of t-shirt shops, not necessarily t-shirt shops, but souvenir shops like there are in New Orleans. But the difference is that they're not selling shot glasses. They're selling something that's a little bit better than that. The first time I went to Medjugorje, I was an inquisitive and doubtful 13-year-old. I asked, or maybe even you might say challenged God to give me a sign, and he did so, in great bounty. The first night I was there, the cross on top of the mountain was on fire. I saw it with my own 2 eyes, and my mother and my cousin and my grandmother next to me. The next day, as we all rose to the top to investigate, we witnessed the miracle of the sun. Did I come to Medjugorje to witness these miracles again? No. I came to Medjugorje to offer a prayer of peace. Peace in my life and peace in the world around me. So it's a brisk night, and I just was in the chapel of St. James. And right now we're here in a little area by myself, and I can just kind of relax and take it all in. It's been a really beautiful day. I can say one thing: I've only been in Medjugorje one day, and I'll only be in Medjugorje one day, and it has been the happiest day I've had in a long time. And I mean that. I just lit a candle for my brother and for my cousin, and it's really just been a spectacular trip thus far. And this is really a different, but still the same beautiful place. It's fantastic. Here's something about this place I think is kind of funny. If there's a fire, you come over here and you just press this button. And then if it's a small fire, you just do one decade. If it's a 4-alarm fire, you got to really do it fast, but you got to do all of them. And then you're good to go. My trip to Medjugorje was short and sweet, and especially fulfilling. Now it was off to the west coast, to Croatia, to the Adriatic Sea, and the island of Kirk. It was there that our group would join 2 others for a 3-day retreat with Father Sudak. So now I'm on the island of Kirk at this fantastic place to be part of a 3-day retreat with Father Sudak, pronounced Sudats. And I didn't really know too much about him, beyond what Google and YouTube could tell me. I kind of came in here with an open mind and not knowing what to expect. And I won't be recording anything because you can't record while you're in there. And it's for good reason. It's a very intense experience. And he's a really famous priest. You guys should look him up and find out what he's all about. I won't tell you too much right now, but we just did the first session and it was pretty impressive. And it was probably one of the most amazing things I've ever been part of in my life. I'll tell you that much so far. And this place, of course, is fantastically beautiful. And again, I thought it was going to be just kind of like some dingy island hotel, and it's some grand hotel. So I'll keep you posted. In the meantime, I'll be in the meditation fountain. We're about halfway through right now, and I will assess that Father Sudak has really got a great thing going on. He really has a great command performance. He's a rock star. He sings, and when he speaks, he's just so profound that you just really want to listen to him. He's being translated from his native tongue, and it's not really a bit difficult thing to overcome because the message is very clear, and he seems to unequivocally reached every single person that I've spoken to. And additionally, after the first night, everyone, including myself, was up till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, still just, running through the gears what he had said the night before, with no chance of sleeping. And I definitely will confess I was up till 2:30 for sure doing the same thing. A lot of people have been asking me why I'm here. Why am I here? Why are we here? The eternal question, eh? But specifically, why am I here? And I've told them, I think this is probably the best reason. I'm a musician, and I've been playing music all my life. I just had a propensity toward it. One might say it was a gift. I took that gift and I honed it into a talent, and that talent has perpetuated itself in my life for more than half my life. And it gets to a time, I think, in a musician's life when he starts questioning, how did he get this talent? Where did it come from? And then eventually that question turns into who? Who pushes the air through my lungs when I sing and play music instruments? And, it's just a natural quest, I think, of every man. Is there something greater? Is my purpose greater? And that's kind of what I'm here for. To put a little finishing touches on an answer that I already know. Another interesting fact, during the whole time, from the beginning to the end, pretty much, people in the background are in the back of the room are going through serious manifestations, and they are making crazy noises, and it's really frightening, and a lot of people are freaked out about it. And Father Sudak's way of just commanding over that situation is truly masterful. He has a great sense of knowing when the room is kind of uncomfortable, and he has kind of these demon bouncers, so to speak. These big dudes that come, and when they really start kicking in and making noise and rumbling the ground, literally, the big guys come out and kind of calm things down, and it just shows that he knows how this show runs, I guess, He's done it a couple times. I think he said 1.5 million people, so this isn't his first dog and pony show. Another thing worth mentioning is that Father Sudak has the stigmata and has had them for a good period of his life. And when you see that in real life, right in that room in front of you, it really does hit you. And it's different than anything else. And another thing to consider, and the only reason I mention this is because I don't want people to potentially miss out on an opportunity to see this because they're afraid of what they might encounter when they do it. But let me be clear, there are multiple demonic manifestations going on in the room behind you. And you can take whatever stance you want on that. And you can feel uncomfortable or comfortable or cool, or in my case, I felt very relieved that that wasn't me, you know, and I just felt for those souls, those people, because they obviously were not having a good time. But I don't want anyone to ever think that that's a reason not to come to these retreats, because again, his control and his command over the entire thing it's amazing and very calming, very soothing, and it's filled with love, and that's what the whole room is about. What we've all witnessed here is just unseen heretofore in my life. I mean, I can't imagine ever going to church and thinking things the same way ever again. So Sudat is a known exorcist, and he doesn't really perform exorcisms that much anymore, but he did over the past 20 years quite a bit. And he has a following. He has an audience. He has people that seek him out and come to these retreats in order to be helped. And they sit in the back and they manifest their demons to hear the sounds that are going on. It's frightening, you know, but we're all embraced in goodness. And I tell you what, you think you have problems, you don't have problems. These people have real problems, like the spitting, freaking out, throwing your body on the ground type problems. And it's just, it's what we're here for. You know, people are on their way to a better way of life, a better path, but just need the icing on the cake. But for these poor souls, they really need some healing, and that's, I guess, one of the things that this weekend is all about. It's also to protect us and to remind us how truly lucky and blessed we are. The retreat came to a close, but its ending was just the beginning, as the seeds of a greater understanding of love and life and mankind had been sown to all of its participants. For the last leg of our journey, we traveled to the capital city of Croatia, Zagreb, for its Advent in Zagreb celebration, a huge citywide celebration of arts, music, crafts, and food that spans throughout the entire city. Objective of the day, getting lost in Zagreb. I think I'm getting pretty close to succeeding at that task. Ah, there you go. Innovative way to park. But truly, every single level of this city opens up into a brand new market, or some type of place to eat, or just some type of new beautiful adventure, or a stage. I've been walking around for hours, and I'm telling you, every level is a new incredible market and different and interesting things to see. Here I sit in a park in Zagreb. This is the final leg of my journey, and I would like to sum up the conclusions over the weekend with the Father Sudak retreat as probably some of the most profound truths of the entire retreat being the following. There were there were people there, there were women there, who were there on the off chance they might be healed of some deep, deep-seated family possessions. Off the off chance that someone in their ancestry was involved in the occult, was involved in idolatry, was involved in an impressive list, as Father Sudak is very good at doing. He's very comprehensive, of mystic things that are just contrary, I guess, to the course of my belief system. Well, I married somebody that there was no off chance that this was the case, but rather it was absolutely and unquestionably definitely the case. She was born of a witch who I met, and basically, her father rejected her, and she was raised in an environment of witchcraft and of the worship of metals and of stones and of tarot card readings and just all of the stuff that I heard over the weekend, and I just kind of made mental checklists as the poorest of souls, not but 10 feet away from me, are just writhing in pain from their manifestations of demonic possessions. And I realized I have not stopped asking myself, what have I done wrong, and not stopped questioning, what was it my fault when things dissolved since she left. And I think I've come to some great conclusions at this point that might not have really been my fault. What I got myself into was, but that's just seemed appealing at the time. And I guess that's part of being a man, is having a part of your life. You become a man when you're a boy, and something happens and you can't play games anymore. But then this is the second phase, when things are stripped of you and love is taken out of your heart. Your castle is just dissolved. You have to rebuild. And now I can truly say that I do forgive myself, and I have really no blame in the situation. I saw what was before me for the first time this weekend because of what was sitting behind me. And since the moment that she left, I think I've had a broken shell, which is unappealing to the female lobsters out there. And I think it's safe to say that I can now return fortified. For my final act, I'm going to go to confession, which from where I'm standing right now is literally towards the light. Thus, to the cathedral I went to confess my sins, pray my penance, and be absolved. As I walked out the doors of this beautiful, unprecedented, gorgeous piece of work, I would be greeted. There she was, my Queen of Peace. It was time to allow myself some fun. As the evening came upon the beautiful city of Zagreb, I joined my new friends that I had made along the way and took advantage of this amazing time in this amazing place. The city was filled with lights and wonderment and surprise, and I got a chance to spend some quality time with my guide, Snežana, and all of the wonderful friends that I had made along the way. It was definitely a night and a trip to remember. The next morning, when I arose, the ancient, primordial, reptilian part of my brain told me to shed my skin in order to process the things I had learned and allow myself to grow. Thus I emerged a new man, ready to face the world and do what I was supposed to do, what I was meant to do, share the love. But there was one place I still hadn't gone. It was the Museum of Broken Relationships, a roving museum of tales of love that had gone wrong. In there, people wrote their stories, and it was in the book that I wrote a quote from a song that has defined me for so long. And with that, my trip would be complete. Alas, homeward bound, having realized that in my life I can't unsee what I have seen, ungo where I have been, undo what I have done, and that miracles are out there. You just have to know where to look.